Fihla says roadblocks are often done in concentrated areas across several regions as motorists frequent their roads. For example, in Region E, this would be Santon Drive or Winnie Mandela Drive. And finally, the National Lottery Ituba announced that one person won the 8.5 million rand Lotto Plus 1 jackpot from the September 18, 2024 draw. The winning ticket was purchased from the township of Nomatamsanga, around 80 kilometers from Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape. Ituba said the winner spent 50 rand on Quick Pick. In a statement, Ituba said the winning ticket was bought at a USafe store operating out of a converted shipping container in the heart of Nomatamsanga. A look at your power and services update at the Panorama switching station. This is Tennis Lekkerskat World Book, and 10-pin power is switched off to enable the team to connect a cable. So if all goes well, this outage should be for only an hour. In the meantime, if you're still without power or water, do make sure that you report it to your service provider. That's your UJFM News. Find us on X at UJFM and give us a follow. I'll be back with your headlines at the bottom of the hour. For UJFM News on UJFM Insights, I'm Pumelele Zulu.
I wonder what's causing all this traffic.
UJFM traffic.
Alright, mine imzuzu lishali hora lesibili ntambama, and of course we take a look at what's happening on your roads, starting things off with places where there are roadworks in Tembisa. On the R21 southbound, roadworks are taking place over there. Traffic restrictions near the R25 Babsfontein Road exit are a result. Of course, delays can also be seen over there. Moving forward to Bedford View on the N3 northbound, where there are roadworks as well, resulting in a long-term lane closure at Van Buren Road. Please do approach with caution. And closing it off with the roadworks taking place in Clayville on the R21 southbound. Traffic restrictions before Olifantsfontein Road are a result, and of course you can expect delays over there. Delays can also be expected if you're traveling in Protea Glen. Yes, at peak travel times on the N12, because traffic lights are not working at the R558 Protea Glen exit. So please do try to approach with caution or do seek alternative route where you can. In Kempton Park on Isando Road, expect delays between Brabazon Road and Green Street. Now we move to places where your traffic lights are not working this afternoon. In North World on Malibonga Drive, they're not working at Belays Drive. Kia Sand, Malibonga Drive, they're not working at River Road. In Fourways, Vetkopen Road, they're not working at Douglas Drive. Sentence City on Grayston Drive, your traffic lights are not working at the M1 Highway. Bryanston, Winnie Mandela Drive, they're not working at Baylor Clear Drive. And in Randburg on Malibonga Drive, your traffic lights are not working at CR Swat Drive. Treat all these places as four-way stops and do approach with caution. If we missed anything, do get in touch with us on our studio line 011 559 1653. Alternatively, do talk to us on the socials at UJFM. Follow us, tag us with that hashtag UJFM Traffic.
UJFM Insights. UJFM Insights.
University of Johannesburg.
The University of Johannesburg.
Bringing the pulse of the campus to you.
From 12 to 3 p.m.
UJFM Insights.
Only on UJFM.
95.4. Dynamically shaping the future.
UJFM Insights. 12 to 3 p.m.
We have a UGenius member joining us in studio right now. Her name is Ukutwano Zimu. She's a second-year law student.
UJFM Insights.
Take me to your day. How does your day look like as a hardworking UGenius Club member?
First and foremost, I put 8 hours of study or more. So then the minimum is 8 hours. I do have a social life.
Sure.
I do other things. Like I'm part of excellence. I'm part of rest culture at risk. But I'm all about study.
How do you then balance your studies with your social life? What do you do for fun?
I have a schedule for everything.
Beautiful.
I know that at 5 I'll be doing this, and I think me having a schedule really helps me so much to balance my life and ensure that I live a well-balanced life. I don't group, that's what I'm trying to say, but I play sports. I'm a very active person when it comes to sports, so I play netball, and that's what I do to distress.
Ukutwano Zimu, the UGenius Club member here at the University of Johannesburg.
UJFM Insights, 12 to 3 p.m.
UJFM 95.4. We are at the Combating Corruption Summit. We have Dan Corder.
When we think about corruption, we think government problem. And yes, the government is mired in corruption, but you know what corrupt people in government need to be corrupt? Private sector. They need consultancy firms to give good advice that then leads to opportunities for corruption. They need an auditing firm to say, oh, these books are clean. And they also need banks. I think it is hard for us everyday South Africans to hear a story about corruption and understand how it affects my life. But with corruption, money that should go to a tender doesn't go to that tender. And so what the tender is supposed to provide never happens. And we as humans struggle to understand that. Corruption affects all of us in a very, very real way. If you've got a pothole on your street, part of the reason why is corruption, money stealing.
UJFM 95.4.
Dynamically shaping the future. SRC Debates, broadcasting from the UJFM studios from Monday the 23rd of September to Thursday the 26th of September, 2 to 3 p.m. Call in on 011-559-1653 or WhatsApp us at 074-322-2355.
All right, the time right now is 9 minutes after the hour, 2 o'clock. Just about to get into the UJSRC debate. Today we have candidates from the Soweto campus joining us. I hear it's just the EFF and the SASCO, and boy oh boy, we truly mean it, I'll tell you that. So we're going to pay bills just a bit more, and then on the other side of that we get to meet all our candidates.
Viva to Amandla Mobile, the internet that never stops for 49 Rand a gig. Visit amandlamobile.com for no contracts, no credit checks or hidden terms, and experience quick Rika and SIM activation. Now that's power. That's Amandla Mobile.
Broadcasting from the UJFM studios from Monday the 23rd of September to Thursday the 26th of September, 2 to 3 p.m. Call in on 011-559-1653 or WhatsApp us at 074-322-2355. UJFM Brunch. UJFM Brunch.
9 to 12 p.m.
It's Hustler's Corner, and today we're talking about what investment strategies are there, especially for beginners. So investment is the action of investing money for profit. So when you invest this money, you are expecting the return on investment. I feel like a lot of people tend to miss these goals when it comes to investment, is that you need to be able to set clear goals. You need to define what your investment objectives are, whether it is savings, whether it is retirement, whether it is pension as well. Investment is a journey. It's not just something that comes jiggy, you're here and you're done. It takes a long period of time. It is essential for you to be patient, to be disciplined, and to be informed.
UJFM Brunch. UJFM Brunch.
9 to 12 p.m.
SRC Debates, broadcasting from the UJFM studios from Monday the 23rd of September to Thursday the 26th of September, 2 to 3 p.m. Call in on 011-559-1653 or WhatsApp us at 074-322-2355.
All right, the time right now, 11 after the hour, 2 o'clock. As I did say a bit earlier on, we're now getting into the UJSRC debate. And today we're hosting our fourth and last campus, which is the Soweto campus. Is that what is that? Jensen and of course, we are doing this to ensure that you make informed decisions as a Soweto campus student when it comes to the SRC elections a bit later on this year. This is coming October, of course, from the 9th to the 11th of October 2024. We're going to be participating in elections, and these people are here to tell you why you should vote for them, right? And of course, it takes place from now until 3 o'clock, and it's live on 95.4 on the UJFM app, and we're live on UJTV as well. So do check all those platforms out. UJTV, just so you can see them as well and see if they're convincing. We're speaking under the topic representation and whether it ensures effective leadership in the SRC. Representation in many ways. We're talking about racial representation, we're talking about religious, gender, and even economic representation in the SRC. Does it matter for effective leadership when it comes to that one? Yeah,
just a quick one to touch on, Jay, based on why really the SRC exists, you know, with
Sure.
the formation. The first one was in NUSAS, and then there was a formation. Steve Biko then made a more inclusive one because the NUSAS was not representing everyone, more specifically the people of color at the time. So now we're looking at a representation. Has the SRC really represent in every way? I'm speaking socially, I'm speaking gender, every aspect that there is.
Absolutely. Also, just looking at how diverse our, UJ campuses are, the students that we have. We don't just have black students, we have white students, Indian students as well, different ethnics, different races. And one wonders, when there's no white person in the SRC, will my rights as a white student be represented in an effective manner? And we get to find. Presenting the EFF, we have two people in studio with us. One is Malibongwe Ntsele, and of course Ubandile Nkosi. Insizwa sanibonani, senamukele ohlelweni. All right, and then we do have representing the SASCO SC, Umncedisi Sithole. Umncedisi, we also welcome you to the show. Sorry? There's no SC. So it's not a student command.
It's not a student command. We're not the ANC student command. We're SASCO, South African Student Congress.
Okay.
An autonomy there.
Oh, yes. All right. Got you. Your other colleagues in the other days were actually identifying in the other way. But truly, we welcome you to the show, and we thank you so much for also making time for us. So as I have said, gents, we have 1 minute, 30 seconds each to introduce ourselves and give us your opening statements. Trying to incorporate today's topic, of course, just to give us your sense of stance on it. You don't need to go deep into it. We just want your sense of stance on it. Of course, sizoqala ke ruling party at SWC, which is the SASCO, represented by Umncedisi Sithole. My sir, your 1 minute 30 seconds starts right now.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. As introduced, my name is Rilin Kateko Umncedisi Sithole. I have the honor to lead the organization that is in government right now, called the South African Student Congress. I have also the honor to be the Speaker of the UJ Parliament. In terms of representation, we're speaking about a non-racist, non-sexual environment that we have to live in within our campuses. Of course, that must also reflect on the leadership that is produced within the SRC. And of course, we are one organization that has done that throughout the years. And if you check the track record, we've introduced a lot of people of color, as you would have said it before, who have been part of the leadership. I mean, we had the deputy chair, the secretary then, and we continue to do that. One of the proudest things that we've done as an organization throughout the 4 campuses that exist this year is that we delivered a chairperson who's a young woman, and it is the only campus governed by SASCO that has done that. We also speak to the people of the LGBTQI, the non-conforming, the non-binary, who are also part of the leadership. So indeed, we are that kind of non-sexist, non-racial organization, and we represent that even in the leadership structure.
All right, there you have it. Umncedisi Sithole representing SASCO in the Soweto campus. We're going to move swiftly along to the gents who are here representing the EFF. As I did say a bit earlier on, we have Umalibongwe Ntsele as well as Ubandile Nkosi. Gentlemen, your time starts now. I'm going to start with you, Malibongwe. Just 1 minute, 30 seconds. Please give us your opening statement. And of course, just introduce yourself to your people.
I would like to thank you for the opportunity that you have granted me with to be in the UJFM. The least I can say about the UJ EFF Student Command is that it's a political party that has been there for the student in terms of registrations, in terms of the struggles that students have been facing in the campuses. And we saw a lot of students coming from a lot of different backgrounds struggling in terms of many issues such as registration, as I've been mentioned, and also when it comes to accommodation, some were struggling about to find a place or to find accommodation. So I'm sorry. And EFF has been there for a UJ student in many campuses, as we have shown that in terms of the previous in previous situations, there have been students who were been trying really hard to stabilize their learning and UJ student education. So I think that's it.
All right there, gentlemen. So I don't know, because there's 2 of you from the EFF. Had you prepared 2 opening statements? Are you going as well, Bandile, or that is just it from the EFF?
No, I'm just going to introduce myself.
Okay, please do that. Your time will start now.
No, thanks very much. My name is Bandile Nkosi. the current convener of the EFF Students Command there at Soweto campus, as young as I am. Yeah, man. And I'd also like to thank the lucky stars of the Fourth Industrial Revolution that were here speaking to students whilst at home at their respective residences, sitting there listening to us comfortably. So, yeah, my brother here said a lot. So, Tina, as the EFF Students Command, we're a student movement, a radical one also. We've been there for students. We're always there, even though we're not in SRC currently. But ours is to always fight, because ours, we believe that ours is always a generational mission. So yeah, thanks very much. I will speak.
All right, Ubandile Nkosi, lawyer representing the EFFSC. Uhamba Nomalibongwe Ntsele, his colleague, also from the EFF, and they're up against Umncedisi Sithole. Just all here to tell you exactly why it should be them that you choose on that big day, the 9th to the 11th of October 2024 at the SRC elections. Once again, gonna get to pay some bills. On the other side of that, we then get into the nitty-gritties of some of the things this gentleman did mention right now in their opening statements. You want to stick around for that one.
Phambili to Amandla Mobile, the internet that never stops for 49 Rand a gig. Enjoy the most affordable rates on SMSs and voice calls to any network in South. Now that's power. That's Amandla Mobile.
The internet that never stops for 49 Rand a gig. Visit amandlamobile.com for no contracts, no credit checks or hidden terms, and experience quick Rika and SIM activation. Now that's power. That's Amandla Mobile.
UJFM Insights, 12 to 3 p.m.
We have a UGenius member joining us in studio right now. Her name is Ukutwano Zimu. She's a second-year law student.
UJFM Insights.
Take me to your day. How does your day look like as a hard-working UGenius club member?
First and foremost, I put 8 hours of study or more. So then the minimum is 8 hours. I do have a social life.
Sure.
I do other things. Like I'm part of excellence. I'm part of rest culture at least. But I'm all about study.
How do you then balance your studies with your social life? What do you do for fun?
I have a schedule for everything.
Beautiful.
I know that at 5 I'll be doing this, and I think me having a schedule really helps me so much to balance my life and ensure that I live a well-balanced life. I don't group, that's what I'm trying to say. But I play sports. I'm a very active person when it comes to sports, so I play netball, and that's what I do to distress.
Ukutwano Zimu, the UGenius club member here at the University of Johannesburg.
UJFM Insights, 12 to 3 p.m. SRC Debates, broadcasting from the UJFM studios from Monday the 23rd of September to Thursday the 26th of September, 2 to 3 p.m. Call in on 011-559-1653 or WhatsApp us at 074-322-2355.
It is 21 after the hour, 2 o'clock. It's the UJ SRC debate live on 95.4, the UJFM app, and even on UJ TV platform. So please do be sure to tell every student you know from the Soweto campus that they should be tuned in right now, because we're making things a bit easier for them. We have the SRC candidates here to tell them why exactly it should be them that they vote for when the SRC elections do come along, of course, in October. 011-559-1653 is the number in which you can call us just to, be able to interact with them live right now. Of course, speaking under the topic of representation in the SRC and whether it does ensure effectiveness in terms of leadership and student representative. Joining us from the EFF, we have two candidates in studio with us, Malibongwe Ntsele and Ubandile Nkosi. And of course, from SASCO, we have Umncedisi Sithole. They've done their introductions and their opening statements. And the Mangabi EFF, Ikhuluma Laphana Phumelele Ngubone ngazathi khonto izwayo. Please get right into it.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Bandile Nkosi, right? You mentioned something that has to do with the EFF, radical movement. So, in that radical movement, incorporated now with, we're talking diversity, man. How are you radical in the sense that umuntu lalele and they're asking themselves, what is the radical movement? Remember, we're speaking to our student yes, the radical movement. Could you just explain what it is to us and the listener out there, and also just incorporate it to the topic, representation, diversity in every aspect. I know you mentioned, Duguti, you're helping with the registration and finding accommodation. Yes. But please just elaborate on the radical point.
Oh no, thanks very much. When I speak up, or when we speak about EFF Students Command being a radical movement, I believe being radical must not be concepted or said. Being radical, you are violent and whatsoever. Because sometimes students they send us to management, saying what's bandile. We're suffering here. We need this and that. So when they're waiting for us there at outside and inside with the management speaking to them, sometimes management are going to use big words. And now when I say Puma would say, comrades, this thing of student politics or student governance is very difficult. It's very dynamic and whatsoever. So when I say we are very radical, we are saying when we go there speaking with management or engaging with them, we are telling them what must happen, what the student wants, and all of those things.
So in saying that, are you representing each and everyone that's fall under the students UJ SWC?
Yes, we do that. Mara, in our current membership, my secretary is not here. Our secretary is not here. He's the one who has those papers. And Mara, from what I saw, we don't have in Soweto campus. You know very well, we don't have a lot of maybe white students and all of those things. So obviously, the EFF Students Command or the EFF has been portrayed as if it's a black only party or student movement, and it's not like that.
I must mention that by diverse, I'm not talking about race only. It's also gender, religion.
Yeah, because for example, umncedisi simzwile lapha ekhuluma ngokuthi bane chairperson umuntu wesifazane, which is a first of its own, something that has never been quite seen in the SRC here at the University of Johannesburg. So maybe in your governance structure, your committee, do you have such where you have women, you have maybe racial different, all that? Do you have that representation like that? Yeah.
Apologies. In the EFF Students Command or in the EFF as a whole, in our constitution, it says in the top 5 or top 6 there must be 50. It must be 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah, it must always be 50-50. Okay. Even though you are capable and what it must be 50-50.
Sure.
So in our branch currently, I'm the convener and there's a coordinator. And that coordinator is a man. Mara, unfortunately, because now we have not yet launched our branch. And when I say we launch our branch, we'll elect a top 5 and then the additional members, which are 10. So then we are going to apply the constitution of the EFF and the EFF Students Command, saying we want 50-50. And also currently, our members currently, we do have Fighter Ayanda. We do have a lot of women there, but unfortunately, currently, most students, they are not yet, we have not yet taught them how to be in the spaces of student politics.
All right, and I just want to go back to Isasco. This is Tole. So please just give us a picture of how long you've been in power in the Soweto campus as the current ruling party.
We've been in power long enough to transform so many things that are happening in our institution.
And how long is long enough?
Yeah, the
so
years.
this is the long enough. The long enough is 4 years this year.
Okay.
That is the length of it.
Sure.
Okay.
But long enough for us to be able to introduce a new cafeteria, because we had the old cafeteria, now we have a student center. Long enough for us to introduce policies such as that. We have students who, suffer from health issues, and we've introduced the relationship between psychiat, one, clinic, and also student affairs, with ensuring that at the clinic the food parcels. That's 2. 3, we've been there long enough to introduce what we call a pet bank, ensuring that young women throughout their times of menstruation, they can get free sanitary towels at the SRC offices. This has been a campaign that has been running for 3 years now, back to back. We've been there long enough to ensure that from the beginning when we started governing, we were not so good at winning cases such as the F7 cases, but this year we've been there to introduce to you that we've won about 80% of those F7 cases.
Okay.
We've been in government long enough to ensure that there was an introduction of a 24-hour library, which was advocated for SASCO. But importantly, we're speaking of inclusivity. We've been there long enough to ensure that at SWC, we don't have gender-conforming toilets. We have toilets that are non-conforming. We have now we're advocating for non-binary, meaning that if I do not want to identify as Mr. or Miss, then it's going to be written non-binary, so that it does not seem to segregate others.
Sure.
But it makes everyone feel comfortable in that process. So this is how long we've been in government, and these are the achievements that we've introduced while we're still in government for the past 4 years. Now imagine what we can do in the next year. It's 5 years.
I get what you mean, and I believe ukuthi mangabe EFF Student Command it's let's go and campaign to be the ruling party here at the University of Johannesburg Soweto campus. It means they don't think that what the SASCO has done is enough. So njengamanje sizothi Shri Eitor City News headlines. Then on the other side of that, I want to find out from the EFF gentlemen ukuthi yini kahle kahle le abafila ngazathi it still needs to be implemented. What gap still needs to be closed at the SWC campus? Also, if you have any questions listening in right now, 011 559 1653, or use the following platforms.
SRC Debates, broadcasting from the UJFM studios from Monday the 23rd of September to Thursday the 26th of September, 2 to 3 p.m. Call in on 011 559 1653 or WhatsApp us at 074 322 2355. UJFM Insights, 12 to 3 p.m.
We have a UGenius member joining us in studio right now. Her name is Ukutlwano Zimu. She's a second-year law student.
UJFM Insights.
Take me to your day. How does your day look like as a hard-working UGenius club member?
First and foremost, I put 8 hours of study or more. So the minimum is 8 hours. I do have a social life.
Sure.
I do other things. Like I'm part of excellence. I'm part of rest culture at risk. But I'm all about study.
How do you then balance your studies with your social life? What do you do for fun?
I have a schedule for everything.
Beautiful.
I know that at 5 I'll be doing this, and I think me having a schedule really helps me so much to balance my life and ensure that I live a well-balanced life. I don't group, that's what I'm trying to say, but I play sports. I'm a very active person when it comes to sports, so I play netball, and that's what I do to distress.
Ukutlwano Zimu, the UGenius club member here at the University of Johannesburg.
UJFM Insights, 12 to 3 p.m. UJFM News.
Fair, consistent, and transparent.
Making headlines at 2:30. UJ's Eagles fly above the storm. Conference shifts mindsets and breaks barriers. Concerns over looming basic education budget cuts, and Tyler's reign continue as she leads Summer Awards nomination. A quick look at your power and services updates. This is at the Alexandra SDC outage, the Greswold substation. The power supply has been fully restored for customers in Wynberg and surrounding areas. This follows a report of the outage last night due to faulty in the cables. City Power does apologize for the inconvenience caused and appreciate the patience. In the meantime, if you're still without power or water, do make sure that you report it to your service provider. Those are your headlines. I'll be back with more details of these stories at the top of the hour. For UJFM News on UJFM Insights, I'm Pumelele Zulu.
UJFM 95.4. We are at the Combating Corruption Summit. We have Dan Corder.
When we think about corruption, we think government problem. And yes, the government is mired in corruption, but you know what corrupt people in government need to be corrupt? Private sector. They need consultancy firms to give good advice that then leads to opportunities for corruption. They need an auditing firm to say, oh no, these books are clean. And they also need banks. I think it is hard for us everyday South Africans to hear a story about corruption and understand how it affects my life. But with corruption, money that should go to a tender doesn't go to that tender. And so what the tender is supposed to provide never happens. And we as humans struggle to understand that. Corruption affects all of us in a very, very real way. If you've got a pothole on your street, part of the reason why is corruption, money stealing.
UJFM 95.4.
Dynamically shaping the future. SRC Debates, broadcasting from the UJFM studios from Monday the 23rd of September to Thursday the 26th of September, 2 to 3 p.m. Call in on 011 559 1653 or WhatsApp us at 074 322 2355.
Uzwege injalo nje, those are the numbers. You call us in, of course, or send through your WhatsApp. We're definitely looking forward to hearing from you, because in studio right now taking place is the UJ SRC debate, and we're hosting the candidates for the Soweto campus who are running for the SRC elections on the 9th to the 11th of October 2024, and they're going to be online. Even if you go home, I will be home, but I'll still be able to make my voice heard. And it's the City, we don't want people who are not going to vote, but then complain. The SRC is not doing this. Make your voice heard, and that's why we bring you these candidates in studio right now to tell you why should they be the ones that you vote for. From SASCO, the ruling party in Soweto currently, it's Mncedisi Sithole, and of course from the EFF it's two gentlemen, Malibongo Ntsele and Ubandile Nkosi. Mncedisi uthe ngiyazithemba ngizobabamba bobabili. All right. So a bit earlier on, Mncedisi, you took us through some of the things you've done in the past 4 years, given the power by the students of Soweto campus. But I'm sure EFF Mangabeniti, let's campaign as well. We want to take power. There surely is something that you are currently seeing in the Soweto campus that SASCO isn't doing so well. Take us into that. Why do you, or what exactly do you feel SASCO is not doing enough and it should be done better?
In the terms of the distribution of the full parcels, I was once one of the victims. This thing of like distributing the food parcels, it's require a student to firstly go online and then register for them so that you can be able to get the food parcel. Of which means if a student or any candidate didn't or fail to register that one, which means the food parcel cannot be issued to that student due to the failure of applying online for that food parcel. So in other sense, I don't think it's the best thing for the application of the food parcel to be something that must be compulsory, because we cannot guarantee it in terms of how the internet or how the networks function. So whenever the student fails to do so, which means the food parcel cannot be issued, and in those cases, as I'm saying, I was once be the victim of that. Only to find you don't have a backup, you don't have any way like to find something that maybe you can get in those specific period of time where like you are being facing a problem of being not having food. So I don't think it's a good movement of like, which means students like have to go firstly apply in order for them to be able to get food parcel. Why don't judge a student if they feel that's
Okay, nguzwa kahle mfowethu. So what you are saying is that the food parcel distribution is not effective and that applying for it should be done away with.
Yes.
Mncedisi, please respond to that. What are your thoughts on what he just said?
Thank you very much. Bandile, you said you believe in industrial revolution. And he says network won't work. We're in the industrial revolution, fourth industrial revolution. This is one university that leads to that process. So we can't fail at network. Sorry to correct you there, my brother. Two is that food parcel distribution is not done by the SRC. It is an initiative that is led by student affairs and community engagement. Now, to answer you on what we have done as SASCO in terms of food parcels, you would remember that there was a time when during the year NSFAS had given students 300 and something instead of the 1,650. Now, as SASCO-led SRC in Soweto campus, we then had a protest of some sort. On that particular day, more than 300 students were able to benefit from food parcels, those belonging to NSFAS and those who are not belonging to NSFAS. One of the categories they use to give food parcels is that you must not be having a bursary, especially NSFAS. Therefore, you do not qualify for food parcels because we're rather looking after the population of students without the funding, right? But also, with the challenges that exist with NSFAS, and the SASCO that was at the forefront to say that, okay, this time around this month, the meal allowance is not coming in time, therefore food parcels must be given to everyone belonging to that. One of the initiatives we're working on right now is to do away with applying, but you still need to provide the proof of registration in order for you to get the food parcel so that it is accounted for. So that is an initiative that we're working on because we have an understanding that 1,650, even though we're providing sanitary towels as SASCO, still does not cover the groceries for the day, for 30 or 31 days.
All
So
right.
that is something for next year. But for what we have done this year, we've been able to assist some of the students who are using NSFAS. We've also been able to clarify who is qualifying for that food parcel and who's not. So it's not relevant what he's saying.
All right, and I'll get back to you, EFF Gents. Is that a response that satisfies you? If so, please move to the next issue that you feel the SASCO-led SRC could be doing better.
Can I speak, please?
Sure, you may.
Yeah, I want to interject. Yeah, we do understand ukuthi food parcels kanjani apply for IR and all of those things. Maratina, we are saying as the EFF Students Command ukuthi we want that thing of ukuthi student affairs is in charge of food parcels, and we want to do away with that. SRC should be in charge of distributing food parcels to students. That's what we are saying.
And what change do you believe that will have when the SRC is in charge and it's no longer student affairs? Maybe one is wondering, oh, there's something that's going to change if that happens. What are some of those changes that are going to come along when the SRC is in charge of food parcels and no more student affairs?
Well, mine is very simple. I'm going to just say one word. It's accountability.
Okay.
Yeah, it's accountability. Because now we voted you as SASCO, students voted for you, and now they have to hold you accountable. When manje ma food parcels as told kanjani. Manje masisiya ukuze umfundo ozovela hambe ayokundani management. Management, do you know how they are most.
Okay,
so
okay, gents. Another thing, maybe if you do have any other pointers, some of the things that you feel like the SASCO-led SRC could be doing better at the SWC campus.
Yeah, thanks very much again. Yeah, I believe ukuthi mfowethu lana ukhulumile ukuthi SASCO yendeni mara angamvanga. I didn't hear him speaking about academics. Angazi noma ngive kabi yini. What I've seen ngifike nini last year, I'm a second year.
Okay.
Yeah, ngifike last year na. From what I've seen being on the ground there, so it's campus, I'm always there on the ground speaking to students, engaging with them. Mara SASCO, I think angazi inali mindset lena ukuthi if they want to provide for students, they are bringing them about limb crazy and all of those useless artists. What is that? I mean, students want what?
Let's
I apologize.
Sure.
Yeah, let's put it on.
Yeah, going further because Limit Crazy didn't do anything.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, I apologize. Apologies to Lim Crazy.
Yeah,
man. I think it's not effective. Okay, students are going to dance to those artists and all of those things, but at the end of the day
so you think the priorities are not straight?
Sure.
All right. Mfokas Tol, asizwe ngawe from SASCO as the ruling party. What do you say to those claims by the EFF which your priorities are not straight? You book certain artists to come and entertain the kids who are going to go home bafika ukudla akukho belambe. Yeah.
Well, number one, the reason why we book artists is not to contribute towards academics. We book artists so that we can also distress. Students are going through, remember that with academic pressure comes mental straining. So we help students distress with booking artists, and our students do enjoy those artists, number one. Two, if you claim to be on the ground, as you say, you would be then informed that SASCO does support students on test 1 and test 2s. Just yesterday we were going to lecture halls and libraries distributing fruits and study packs. We did this again in the first semester. So students do benefit from study packs, which are books, pencils, pens, and also fruits that SASCO is able to fundraise, in fact, out of the SRC budget, fundraise outside and bring to support students. So if our students are studying at night, I mean, for example, we know that NSFAS are Friday, students right now have to go through the night studying, but on an empty stomach. What is SASCO doing? SASCO is bringing food, SASCO is bringing exam pads, SASCO is bringing snacks to assist students to get through that period. Remember, if we had to fundraise for a meal, it's something else, it's something big, but the little that we've been able to get and achieve, we've taken it to our students. Now, this is what we've done to support academics in our institution. But the biggest achievement we've done to support our academics is that from the 100% of the students who are academically excluded, there are many reasons why students can be academically excluded. This year, it is for the first time in the history of the University of Johannesburg that we won 80% of academic exclusion cases. That is what we do to support academics.
Okay.
We support them financially as well. Lastly, the students who are supposed to be financially excluded within the university, I can tell you, there's not even one student this year that can say I was financially excluded, because for the first time ever, our students were able to register, sign an AOD without paying 50% in the university, so that they can come back and have their studies continuing. This is the achievement of SASCO that we continue to put in place.
All right. Yes, Wagala, you spoke about snacks, exam pads, and some fruit. Where does this happen, at the 24-hour area in Soweto?
Yes, 24-hour lecture halls.
I think we should go and study there now. We're able
Right?
All right. EFF, I'm going to come back to you now. I don't know if there's any other issue that you feel SASCO is not doing enough that you'd like to comment on before we move on to your why. Yeah.
In terms of, I'm sorry. In terms of the entertainment that my brother once mentioned here, in terms of my priorities, my brother, the stance that my brother Bandile here was raising is that the priorities are not the same. You guys seem to be spending a lot of money in terms of these things of entertainment, like bookings, DJs, everything. But I don't think with that money, maybe. Don't you think, with that money that you spend maybe on the entertainment can assist students, those who are like financially excluded from institution, to try to assist them in order for them to be able to terminate the poverty, in order for you to be able to say and come in front with we are helping students in this and this, because at the end of the day we can have happy, we may groove, we may do everything, but at the end of the day, what happens after when you go to our residential areas? What do we do after? So I think those my brother stands there was raising. I think the priorities, the money, the funds that you guys seem to spend on the entertainment is more than the funds that you guys spend on the student, trying to assist them in terminating the poverty.
Maybe respond to that.
I think one day, my brother, unfortunately, you might even graduate without being in government. Unfortunately. But I think one day, if you had to understand, the budget that is given to the SRC is so limited that it can't even pay for debts of students. As SASCO, we use what we call the SRC Trust Fund, in which it is likely allocated something like 20 million. But we always argue at the beginning of the year that 20 million is not enough to assist us to cover registration. In fact, it is SASCO-led SRC that always says EUJ has 4+ billion reserves. Why don't we add to the money that is in the SRC Trust Fund so that we can assist students? SRC Trust Fund, if you look at it, what it defines that it will assist you with registration. But they can tell you today that it has not only done that, it has cleared 50% of the debts. In some, it has cleared 100% of the debts that are belonging to students. Now, we speak of the SRC budget that you are saying we are spending on artists and so forth. No. We're not spending the money on artists and entertainment. We're spending the money on preserving student life on campus. And preserving student life on campus is number one, ensuring that there's teaching and learning happening on campus. 2 is to make sure that even when there's teaching and learning happening on campus, the activities that sustain a student life on campus. That is your rest culture. Your colleague James, who's the deputy chairperson of the EFF at Fort Res, knows about the rest culture, because it is the SRC budget that funds Amaga's culture and first year's concerts that happen on our campuses and throughout the central SRC.
All right. So Mncedisi, I'm going to come back to you very shortly.
Yes, sir.
Someone is thinking to themselves, each year comes with different challenges for students. So they want to know you more on top of all that you've mentioned, what you've been able to do as the SASCO. So very shortly, we will be getting into that. But back to you, EFF. I don't want us to, someone is thinking to themselves, well, we now know what you are currently seeing as defects at the Soweto campus. But what are you bringing to the table? So may we please just answer, that question for a listener, for that student at the Soweto campus who wants to find out what more are you bringing that already is not there, and try to be, as specific as possible so that they get an idea exactly. If it's a policy, what will that policy be doing to ensure what result actually at the end? Please do take it away.
No, thanks very much. With regards to our policies and all of those things, Tina, as the EFF Students Command, in our manifesto was saying, Hori, we want to be in charge of the food parcels, about the distribution of the food parcels. And also we want to also build, because last year we saw, Hori, we lacked in building relationships with the religious groups, churches, and all of those things.
Okay.
We lacked very much there. And this year, I gave a mandate to my comrades, telling them from first year, from first term, first semester, I told them, no, comrades, I'm giving a mandate to go in all of those churches. If mina ngumzayon uzohamba ngumzayon, if ungishemba uzohamba, if ungkrestu uzohamba khona, so that we can build relationships. We don't want our comrades to go to those churches, different churches now, because obviously they are going to see, they are going to comprehend, you comrades are just using us and all of those things, you see. So Tina was saying we want to build relationships with the religious churches, the religious groups and whatsoever, so that we can at least represent them if we are elected, if it so
into
happened,
power.
elected into power.
Sure.
So that sorry for being long, so that they
have all the time.
because student politics is evaporating, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
It's not like those olden days or 2016 or whatsoever. Students are no longer interested in student politics, and I blame us as different student movements. Because we are not making it a thing to fight for ourselves, because it cannot be always ukuthi it is us who always fight for them. Now sifuna kubanikeza la mic ukuthi bakhone ukuthi noma nginenkinga esong uzohamba nge-faculty esona, uzohamba nge-management, uzohamba nge-finance, izinto ezikanjalo. So we want to empower them. That is why in the EFF Students Command we've got political education classes, and I conduct them.
All right.
Okay, so I hear you said something on some student politics is evaporating, used the term evaporating. Why do the students not care for the student politics, or maybe in particular for what you have in store as SRC? Why do they not have, why is it evaporating? Why do they not have the care?
What do you think is the reason why students are just saying laba when it comes to the SRC?
No, because
unless that's not what you meant by saying student politics are evaporating.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They are, because statistics proves it.
Sure.
And scientifically so. Because we see the voter turnout in Soweto campus. We have how many students? 5,000?
Yeah, 6,000 students.
6,000 students. And only last year now, only 2,000 voted.
No, 3,000.
3,000.
Plus 3,000.
Because Tina, you got 1.5, Tina, you got 1.2.
So you combine that.
Sure.
Yeah. So you see now, what does that mean? What does that mean? And also, Nazi, we're also trying our best, our utmost best to make politics fashionable to students.
Okay.
But again, we are still on the ground trying to do research and all of those things. But currently, now, I can't be here sitting and lying to Mukjele. No, this is the particular problem which is making students to distance themselves from student politics.
Okay. I would think you were not done maybe with telling us why unless you are. Can we now move to Sasko? Is that okay with you?
I'd like to add.
Okay.
In terms of why the student seems not to be interested in this politics.
Sure.
Firstly, I think it goes about the perception. Students see politics as something that is a distemper to their learning program, because you can go around and hear people saying you guys are politics, we are here to learn, and all those languages that the students speak. So I think that goes also with distracting the perception of the political, and some of them are not political affiliated. So I think at a distance, if you see politics at a distance, you see something else. But when you get closer and then associate yourself or affiliate yourself with politics, that is when you start to understand what does the politics entails to do, or what exactly politics is about. So I think students are lacking the knowledge and vision about what politics is capable for them to do, and how does politics can make their life easy in the campuses.
Okay. Ngiyabona lapha mfana khona usafisa ukuadd
ngifuna ukubuyela emuva lapho khona umnethu ngongapha kimi Sasko uthi ukhuluma ukuthi if thina okay ngazusho something ukuthi akaboni ukuthi sizo elect personally now I feel good.
But that's the truth.
Yeah, wait.
That's the truth. You said
okay,
it.
respect.
Please, yeah. Let's wait for him to finish. Yes, Mr. Nkosi, go on.
Yeah, sure. Because now personally I feel good. I don't need to be in SRC to be wearing a white blazer, whether it be a black blazer, whilst it's very hot. We're moving around. The students don't know the academic office of the of SASCO. We don't know. We only know the chairperson because Vele, she's a lady. She's always on the ground. I must not lie to you. We don't know the academic officer. We don't know the transformation gender. We don't know the SRC.
Okay.
We don't know them. So now I'm saying, if I'm not elected or we are not elected to be in SRC, what will stop me from helping a student?
Okay.
Because I know how to help them or to assist them.
So if you are a Soweto student listening right now, and these are the principles that align with you, these are the changes you'd like to see on your campus, then you know who to vote for come the 9th to the 11th of October 2024. But for now, Simova to SASCO. Maybe you didn't hear Gatlin, this was the EFF. What more? On top of what they say they've already brought to you, what more are they going to bring should you elect them back to power? This is Tole. Please do take it away.
Well, thank you very much. Number one is continuation. I don't think we are in a position to come here and say we've done enough with the pet drive. It can never be enough. That the pet bank must always continue, must be sustained. It's continuity. Number two is the biggest motto that we carry. Your first friend on campus, which is SASCO, advocating for what the Freedom Charter says. You know, we want to develop a better student life for all that exists on our campus. Importantly, we want to introduce these new things. We want to introduce facilities, campus facilities that also speak to day houses. We want to introduce alcohol license facilities because they do exist in other campuses such as APK, but they're not there in Soweto. Why not Soweto? Soweto is not a stepchildren of the University of Johannesburg. Therefore, the alcohol license facilities must be introduced to Soweto. One, those DPhils that we spoke about that are now at Soweto campus will be opened so that our students can utilize those DPhils without having to book. We can only book the stadium, but the DPhils must be utilized at any given day, any given time. Two is that we want to transform the policy of the university that speaks about clinic. We want a 24-hour available clinic so that our students can be assisted at any given day, any given time, scrapping out the fact that we have to book to be at the clinic because you don't prepare to be sick, you just get sick. So therefore the booking must not happen, but 24-hour clinic, qualified doctors and nurses must be on point, and also there's no booking that must be there. What other things that we want is to advocate for bigger libraries. Apologies,
Lapo. You're saying professional, I believe doctors and qualified, I think is the word you used. Are the current ones not qualified?
So we are questioning the status quo.
Okay.
We are questioning the status quo because the statistics that exist this year simply say that we have more than 10 students who died in the hands of these clinics that exist on campus.
Okay.
Now we're questioning that status quo. That's why we are saying qualified and doctors. That must be there because it's only nurses that are there. So that's why we're challenging that status quo. But also we want to speak about the residences that exist on campus. If we're able to create toilets on campus that are non-conforming or gender-neutral toilets, the same strategy must exist, and education of LGBTQI must be done in our students that exist on campus. Those toilets that are non-conforming must also exist in our student residences that are at Soweto campus. Other than that, we also want to make sure that the pet drive, academic exclusion, want to continue to fight it, want to support our students academically. Financial exclusion, we are going to continue advocating that financial exclusion does not exist in a university that has more than 4+ billion in their reserves. So these are the aims and the objectives that we put as SASCO, but we still have more to offer to our students.
All right, I believe sifika kanjalo esiphethweni sengxoxo yethu yanamhlanje SRC debate between SASCO and EFFSC, who are the only two candidates at the Soweto campus, hoping ukuthi ngomhla 9 to the 11th as a Soweto campus student you vote for them. It's been a great pleasure this entire week ukuba nalezi ngxoxo with all our campuses, and I must say to the gentlemen in studio with us namhlanje sibonga kakhulu just for respecting one another and making sure that we have a clear and cohesive conversation from one point to the next. We truly do appreciate your respect, and also just coming through to make sure that the students know exactly what you're all about and what it is that they should vote for come the SRC elections a bit later on this year, in October actually. So sibonga kakhulu sivala kanjalo ke namhlanje on the way UJFM Drive yakuthatha kusukela lapha na ku 3 yokubeka ku 6 o'clock with UJFM Drive, but today it's not Ponto Mohane wephumelele. It's Uitoko Kohotsitse, who's going to be taking the people home. And I know that she actually has so much fun, Maila Panagui Drive. And let's take a listen as she makes her way into the studio to let us know what exactly is going to be happening from 3 to 6 here on 95.4.
We are going to be celebrating Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa.
Thank you very much.
Courtesy of UJFM Drive. We have BK to sing tailor-made songs for our dear president.
You are the king of our country, the king of our century. You know, you show us hard work pays off.
Oh,
because working hard sounds like cookies and milk.
Wow.
But we now know